The 18th century was a period of transition for India. The Mughal Empire had started to decay during the last 25 years of the reign of Aurangzeb, when he was preoccupied with wars in the Deccan. In this chapter, we will study the following concepts. 1. The later Mughals and foreign invaders. 2. Rise of independent states. Decline of Mughal Empire. We have seen that the decline of the Mughal Empire started during the reign of Aurangzeb. This decline was hastened by the later Mughal emperors who proved to be inefficient and worthless. Aurangzeb's successors were weak and incapable rulers. As a result, the Mughal Empire began to disintegrate. The country soon broke up into many small kingdoms. The Subedars, governors of the Mughal provinces, began to assert their independence. They removed the old zamindars and appointed new ones who were expected to be loyal to them. The provincial governors then engaged in warfare with their neighboring provinces.
Maratha administration features. The Maratha administration was based on Hindu Shastras, Muslim laws, reforms made by Shivaji himself. There were few departmental set up to perform executive and administration work. Shivaji was the father of the Maratha kingdom. He was not only a great conqueror and a diplomat, but also a successful administrator. Some of his administration setup was better for his contemporary period. Shivaji kept all powers concentrated on him, but he ruled with the advice of his ministers. General features of Shivaji's administration. He never allowed religious bias in employing administrative officers. He assigned separate responsibilities to the ministers and they were made accountable. He made no office hereditary. In general, he did not assign jagirs to his civil and military officers. He gave special attention towards the administration of the forts. In matters of administration, he gave superior position to his civil officers as compared to military officers. He established Riyatwari system in revenue administration. The state kept direct contact with the farmers. Central administration. Astha Pradhan Mandal. He had a council of ministers to advise him on the matters of the state. The Peshwa was the first among ministers. The table shows administration and division of Astha Pradhan Mandal. The Peshwa, the Amatya or Majumdar, the Mantri or Vakyanavis, the Sachiv or Shurunavis, the Sumant or Dabir, the Senapati or Seninobat, the Pandit Rao or Danadhyaksha, the Nyayadhish. Fiscal system or revenue system. Revenue system. Taxable village land was measured and the produce was roughly assessed. The cultivators were levied 40% of their produce as land revenue. The Rayotwari system was introduced and revenue was directly collected from the farmers. Shivaji abolished the Jagirdari system wherever it was feasible. Land revenue was paid in cash or kind and installments. The accounts of the revenue officers were checked to curb corruption. Shivaji introduced the collection of two taxes called the Chauth, protection against the invasion tax, and Sardeshmukhi, a tax exacted from conquered territories. Sardeshmukhi was an additional tax of 10% which Shivaji claimed. Judicial administration. Judicial administrative system was rather simple. The highest court was Hazar Majals, King's Court. The day-to-day administration was under village panchayats and the village patel decided criminal cases. Regular army. He maintained a regular army and paid them in cash. Guerrilla warfare. The guerrilla warfare was suitable in the geographical location of Maharashtra. It is a kind of surprise attacks on the enemy. Forts. The forts also served as military cantonments, so he concentrated on fort maintenance. In his kingdom there were about 280 forts. Division in the army. Army had 6 divisions, namely cavalry, infantry, camel battalions, elephant battalions, artillery and navy. Discipline in the army. Shivaji strictly disciplined the army. To kill or torture ladies and children, to loot the Brahmins, to spoil cultivation, etc. were punishable offences. Liberal religious policy. Shivaji proclaimed himself to be the protector of the Hindus, the Brahmins and the cows. But he did not destroy a single mosque, protected Muslim ladies and children. He employed Muslims in civil and military departments. Muslim soldiers. Shivaji had about 700 Muslim soldiers.
Rise of independent states. These were caused by a number of factors. Aurangzeb had depleted the financial resources by fighting a long war in the Deccan. Disintegration of imperial administration. Emergence of powerful mansabdars. Decline in periodic remission of revenue to the capital by provincial governors. Revolt of peasants due to rise in tax. Invasion of foreigners who weakened the centre. Rivalry amongst the different factions of nobles to gain more favours. Bengal. The province of Bengal was the first to become independent of Mughal rule in the 18th century. It was ruled by Murshid Quli Khan from 1717 to 1727. He established his capital at Dhaka and named it Murshidabad. He was succeeded by Shamas-ud-Dawla 1727 to 1739 CE, Alivardi Khan 1739 to 1756 CE, and Siraj-ud-Dawla 1756 to 1757 CE. The above Nawabs reorganized the administration of the province. They dismissed the corrupt and inefficient Jagirdars and encouraged the growth of agriculture, trade and industry. They appointed new Jagirdars who were mostly Bengali Hindus. The Nawabs granted loans to poor cultivators but did not decrease the revenue demands. Thus, though the revenue of the province increased, the condition of the peasants remained deplorable. Nawab Alivardi Khan was greatly troubled by the Marathas. He agreed to pay tribute to them on the condition that they would not disturb the peace of Bengal. Bengal. The Nawabs of Bengal, however, met with great opposition from the British East India Company. After the death of Alivardi Khan, the new ruler, Siraj-ud-Dawla, was defeated by the British at the Battle of Plassey in 1757 CE. Siraj-ud-Dawla was captured and put to death. The company became the real master of the whole of Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. Awadh. The provinces of Awadh, Bengal and Mysore also came into existence as a result of revolts by Subedars. The Suba of Awadh became independent in 1722 CE, when a Persian Shia named Sadat Khan was appointed the governor of Awadh by Muhammad Shah, the Mughal emperor. Sadat Khan rapidly rose to fame and power and was summoned to Delhi at the time of Nadir Shah's invasion. He was deputed by the king to negotiate with Nadir Shah and persuade him to desist from destroying the city and return to his country on payment of a large amount of money. But Sadat Khan failed in his mission. Nadir Shah did not get the promised amount of money. The enraged Marauder vented his anger on the population of Delhi. He ordered a general massacre, which continued for 15 days. Sadat Khan committed suicide out of shame and humiliation. The next Nawab of Awadh was Safdarjung, who was also appointed Wazir of the Mughal Empire. He played an important role in the politics of the country. He was succeeded by his son Shuja-ud-Dawla. The state of Hyderabad was founded by Chinquilich Khan. In 1761, it was ruled by Nizam Ali. He was granted the title of Nizamul Mulk Asaf Jah by the Mughal emperor. So, his dynasty came to be known as Asaf Jahi dynasty. His successors were called Nizams of Hyderabad. Though the Nizams never declared their freedom from Mughal rule, they governed Hyderabad state as independent rulers. In 1798, the Nizam of Hyderabad came under the protection of the East India Company. The state remained under British rule till 1947. It was finally merged with the Republic of India in 1948. Punjab. The 12 Missals of Guru Arjan Dev. Missal is a word that means alike and is akin to a fighting clan. There are 12 Missals of Sikhs in Punjab. Maharaja Ranjit Singh's ability to get the 12 Missals to cooperate was a critical factor in the ascendancy of his becoming the ruler of northwest India. Sikh Missals: Fulkain Missal, Aluwalia Missal, Bhangi Missal, Kanhaiya Missal, Ramgadiya Missal, Singhpuriya Missal, Panchgadiya Missal, Nishanwalia Missal, Sukarchekiya Missal, Dalewalia Missal, Nakai Missal, Shahidan Missal. In the beginning of the 18th century, Punjab was ruled by the Mughal Subedars, but as a result of the invasion of Nadir Shah and Ahmad Shah Abdali, the Mughals lost control over Punjab. This was a golden opportunity for the Sikhs to assert their supreme political power over a large part of Punjab. They first attempted to occupy Punjab under the command of their great leader Banda Bahadur, but failed. Banda Bahadur was captured and executed by the Mughals. But the Sikhs organized themselves into Dal Khalsa and continued their struggle. They ultimately occupied a large part of Punjab, which they divided into 12 chiefdoms or missals, each under a Sikh chief or missaldar. By the end of the 18th century, a Sikh chief, Ranjit Singh, occupied Lahore and gradually carved out an independent Sikh kingdom extending from Peshawar in the west to Satluj in the east. However, some small Sikh states, including Patiala, Nabha, Jind and Faridkot on the other side of the Satluj, came under British protection in 1806. Rajputs. Emperor Akbar had won the loyalty and support of the Rajputs, but in the time of Aurangzeb, they had risen in revolt against him when he tried to interfere in the internal affairs of their states. After the death of Aurangzeb, they tried to free themselves from the control of the Mughal emperors, but there was no unity among them. Since they did not join hands to fight against the Mughals, they could not free themselves from the Mughal yoke. They remained nominally under Mughal rule. The most important Rajput ruler was Savai Raja Jai Singh of Amber. He built the magnificent city of Jaipur. The city was built of pink stone, which is why it came to be called the Pink City. He also built astronomical observatories, all called Jantar Mantar at Delhi, Jaipur, Banaras, Ujjain and Mathura. With the rise of the Jats and Marathas, the Rajputs lost their influence in the political affairs of the country. The fact that they were constantly at war with each other did not help matters at all. This constant warfare left them too weak and disorganized to fight against a common enemy. Ultimately, in 1750, they had to suffer the ignominy of coming under the protection of the Marathas. Jats. In 1669, the Jat peasantry led by a man called Gokhla rose up against Mughal rule. The Jats were punished severely, but they remained undaunted. The cause of the revolt was increase in land revenue. The tax on their produce, which had been 1/3 during Akbar's reign, had slowly been increased to almost 1/2. This was too heavy a burden for the peasantry to bear. But Aurangzeb did not reduce the tax because he needed money for maintaining his army. This imperial policy caused discontent among the Jats. There were many leaders of the likes of Churamal, Surajmal and Chhatrasal who organized the Jats into a strong military power and used this power against the Mughals. Surajmal was a great leader. He was the one who completed the iron fort of Bharatpur that his father had begun. The main centers of the activity of Jats were Mathura, Panipat and adjoining areas of Delhi.